Welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversations at Home program. I'm Jenelle Riley with Variety. Before we're joined by our guest today, I want to let you know that the SAG-AFTRA Foundation is a nonprofit organization that relies entirely on donations to provide emergency assistance and free educational programs to SAG-AFTRA artists. This conversation today is made possible thanks to the generosity of our supporters. Over the past year, the foundation has given over $6.5 million in COVID relief to more than 7,000 performers. So if you are a SAG-AFTRA artist and you need help, please ask. And if you can help, please give. Information can be found in the description of this video. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Evan Peters of MARE of EASTTOWN. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Congratulations on a great year, not one, but two hit shows. That's This is an audience of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors. So I actually always like to start at the beginning by asking, how did you get your SAG card?
Oh, gosh. I believe it was, I did this PlayStation commercial in 2001, and I think that is what got me in there.
Oh, wow. 2001. Yeah. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. Since I was about 14 or 15, I came out to LA.
Do you have any sway with the PlayStation people? Because I really want a PS5.
No. And you know what? I thought when I did it, I would for sure maybe at least get a game or something, but I never, that was a myth. No, I didn't get Sour Patch Kids either. I thought I was going to get like a lifetime supply of that, but that didn't work out.
You did a Sour Patch Kids commercial?
Oh, yeah.
Full confession, I've never had a Sour Patch Kid.
What?
I must not have seen your commercial, because if I had, I would have been convinced.
That would have sold you. No, they're amazing. They're so good. You got to try.
I just don't like, I don't know. I don't like, it's not gummy though, right? I can't stand gummy stuff.
It is gummy. It's first they're sour, then they're sweet. That was the line. Yeah.
All right. I'm actually on my way to a movie theater after this, and I'm going to try it today.
Oh my God, get them. Yeah, get them.
So again, coming off another amazing year, honestly, how did MARE of EASTTOWN find its way to you, and what attracted you not just to the role, but to the project in general?
Well, it was, the typical, it was sort of, your agent sends you the audition and self-tape, here you go. And of course I read Kate Winslet and, okay, I got to really hone in on this one and try to really do my best work. So I was really, really enticed by the idea of working with Kate Winslet, obviously. And then it was a crime drama as well, done by HBO. And I just don't know that there's a better, network that does that. So I was very excited to do both of those. So then I self-taped it and met with Brad and Gavin, and they said, "Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Are you kidding?" And then just kind of dove in.
I'm actually a little surprised to hear you auditioned, because you're pretty established. Still doing the old self tapes. I actually don't mind it. I actually kind of prefer it. It makes me feel like I like this. It's scary when you don't do that. You don't know what you're going to do, and they're like, "Yeah, here, go for it." I always prefer that almost, because then you can really, you say, "This is what I'm probably going to do it like. This is what it's going to be like," and they're like, "Yeah, I like that." And you're like, "Okay, great." So you kind of go in with this confidence of that's what they want, and what you can do, and it always feels a little more like you can relax, I suppose, and kind of just hone in on that. It's so funny you say that, because your WandaVision co-star Paul Bettany once said that he prefers to audition, so because then everyone knows what he's bringing and he's less likely to get fired.
Yeah. There's always that terror that the first day of shooting, they're like, "Oh God, that's what he's doing," and then you're canned. But yeah, it's always it's always sort of better to go in there with that mentality.
I guess the reason I can understand them maybe wanting to see tape on you is he's kind of a different character from ones you've played in the past. I feel like you're not necessarily on the other side of the law a lot, but you're pushing the boundaries, at least, of being on the other side of the law. Yeah.
It was he's a very toned down kind of guy, and it was sort of a more grounded show that we were trying to
go for this kind of hyper realism almost. And yeah, I think they wanted to see that. And yeah, of course, I've played some pretty dark characters in the past, so it was a chance to show that I'm not really like that, and I'm more, normal or middle America, I suppose, as opposed to all that. But yeah.
So would you say he's closer to you as a character than like, well, I hope Jeffrey Dahmer, who I know you're playing now.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Definitely. I would say so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But you did such an amazing job nailing that very specific Delaware County accent. How did you do that? Where did you even begin?
Well, thank you for saying that. We had an amazing dialect coach, Suzanne Solby, who, she's a local and she went around and asked people and got different tapes of people, speaking and interviewing them. And, I found this guy, Steve Baylor, who, just sounded amazing. It was really right in the middle there. It wasn't too strong. It wasn't, not enough. And it was really sort of, perfect because his temperament as well was very, very Collins-able. And so I got a 20-minute tape of him, and I would just listen to that every morning because I was so scared that I would lose it. And then the pandemic hit, and I thought, oh no, I have to keep listening to this because in 6 months we're going to go back and I'm going to forget how the accent is. So yeah, I kept listening to that, not every day, but a couple times a week. And then when we picked back up, I went back into every day. So I know this guy better than himself. He's I'm not sure what he's doing for Thanksgiving this year, but I knew what he was doing for Thanksgiving that year.
Is he an actor or a coach, or you just
no? Suzanne just asked around, and he was just a guy that she found, and just sat him down for some interview, and got about 20 minutes of tape on him, and just listened to it on repeat. I love the accent. I think it's such, I've never heard it before. I thought, wow, that's so strange. It's like New York, but almost Southern and so weird. I've never heard anything like it. But I fell in love with it, and I really like the accent. I think it's really fun. Yeah.
I've spoken to your co-star, Julianne Nicholson, and she got a real kick out of the Murder sketch that Saturday Night Live did. I feel like it was made with love and affection.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I hope so. But yeah, it was really, I thought that was hilarious too. That was, they nailed the accent.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually thought the accents were pretty good, even though it was like a parody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're from New York, most of them anyway. And I think they're the Philly all the time.
So did you spend much time in the area also to prepare?
I did. Yeah. Well, we shot there. So it was great. I mean, that was one of my favorite parts, was being in Philadelphia the whole time. I love that city. The people were amazing. The food was incredible. The accent's amazing. And it was just really fun. You just got to walk around and explore a new city and really immerse yourself in it. So I found that to be, very helpful to get into the series and the story and the sort of, well, we shot in Philly, we shot 45 minutes outside of Philly, and I was staying in Philly, but yeah, when we'd go out there to shoot, I'd walk around as well and sort of get immersed in the small town atmosphere, that sort of that small community feeling.
I mean, playing a detective, did you do any special research, spend any time with real police people?
Yeah, there's a lovely, I did the typical ride along with the Marple Township Police Department. And that was funny. That consisted of unlocking a car door, a 16-year-old who was driving with her mom and hit a side view mirror. And then there was, I think, a lost St. Bernard that was walking around, which sort of, it felt perfect for Easttown and just how small that community was. So it felt perfect for that. And then a lovely detective, Christine Blaler, who MARE was sort of based off of, recommended a great book for me to read called Sex-Related Homicide and Death Investigation. And I was reading that every day to try to stay immersed in, I was always fascinated and sort of disturbed by how these detectives have to look at all of this horrific stuff going on every day. So I wanted to try to see if I could know what that was like. And this book has some really, really awful, disturbing stuff in it. So I was reading that and watching First 48 a lot. I watched that a lot and tried to, a lot of what my character does is interview people and just really, I wanted to know what that was like. And, you know, you see it a lot in movies and TV and stuff, but I was curious how they actually do it. And it was really, really helpful and informative to watch First 48 because they have a lot of security footage of them interviewing suspects. So I found that to be very helpful in the process. So I did that. And then watched Silence of the Lambs a lot too. I find
was that prep or was that just for fun? Because I watch it at least once a year.
It's such a great movie. Yeah, and it's very real, and she's so amazing in that. Everybody's amazing in that film. But Jodie Foster particularly. So I really like her character and what she's going through in that. So I watched that a lot, and then and then just really looked up to Kate to see what Kate was doing, and sort of the tone she was setting, and how to go about playing some of these scenes, which, you know, she's just the best and a pro. So I found that to be very helpful.
She's so amazing. Was it ever like, did you ever get lost in the scene and forget that, you know, you had a line? Because I would just be like, it was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was intense. I'm such a huge fan of hers and look up to her so much. And for so many years, it was really surreal to be on a set with her and working with her. So, it was definitely intense, but I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better scene partner to work with and sort of have her, there to lead it. And she's just such a fantastic leader and so compassionate and so detail oriented that I was just pretty much in awe. And so therefore it wasn't hard to play Colin, who was in all of her as well.
I might get a little spoilery here, but I feel like everyone has seen the show, so it's okay at this point. But did they give you his full arc up front? Did you have all the scripts? Did you know where it was going? Or, you know, did they wait until you got the part and sort of fill you in?
I did. Yeah. No, they gave me the first 5 when I started. And so I knew in 5 he was going to, for lack of a better phrase, bite the bullet. And
literally.
Yeah, literally. So I knew what was going to happen, and I liked that ending. I thought it was very shocking and real and sudden, and that's kind of how it happens, you know. So I really liked that, and it made all the scenes leading up to it that much more precious, I thought, and really wanted to invest in them and work really hard on them and try to make them interesting or different, or I don't know. So just so that payoff was big, I guess, is what we were trying to do.
It was huge. And I remember thinking he could somehow pull through. Like, they're not going to kill him off. Like, he'll be back next week, right? You can simulate that. People were really, really floored. I mean, it must have been rewarding to see that response, knowing you worked so hard on this character.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I was shocked at the response, and I was very grateful, and I'm still incredibly grateful and shocked at that response. And it's funny. My parents text me. They were like, wait, you're only in 5? Or you're going to back up, right? Are you actually dead? I was like, yeah, I told you this. I said I was only in 5, but yeah, that's it. That's it for me. And they're like, oh man. They were so shocked. That was I got a kick out of that.
Oh my, no, I really had a feeling that somehow he could pull through because they had just made us invest in this relationship too. I was like,
damn it. I didn't do that.
So cruel.
Yeah.
Gonna have a word with Brad. These characters, you know, obviously are going through a lot and dealing with a lot. And you said that, you know, they could go to some dark places. But what was the atmosphere on set like? I also know you were shooting, I believe, when it was like freezing cold temperatures.
It was cold. It was. I prefer that. I actually love shooting in the cold. I think it's really It reminds me of On the Waterfront, where they could just see their face freezing and their breath. And it just really, it helps put you in that world and being in Philly in the winter. I love it. I would much more rather shoot in the cold than the heat, for sure.
Were you originally from LA?
No, well, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. And then I moved down to LA when I was 14 or 15.
Because
I can't remember.
My family's from Hawaii and I can't stand the cold. Can't stand it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. I find it very distracting and you're just melting, like mentally and physically, and you can't remember your lines and things. But when it's cold, you're like crisp and tight, and you're like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Remember my lines. We gotta go back.
Right. But the original question was, if it was, a struggle, if it was a challenge to kind of be in those places, or if the atmosphere on set could be light.
Oh yeah, no, I loved it. I loved working in Philly, and I actually prefer going wherever it is that you're shooting. I just think that it's such a huge benefit to get the lighting, the feeling, the culture, the people, everything. And then even when you go grab some food, you notice something different about somebody that looks totally different than somebody in LA or New York, so you can just pick up on little details like that. And I just love it. So I would go to, Siberia, the colder, the better. And I'm actually jealous of The Revenant. I think although I know that it was an incredibly difficult shoot. But I think that, taxing yourself like that, is always rewarding and fun.
So you'll go anywhere except maybe Hawaii?
I would still go to Hawaii. Let's be real. I mean, it's the heat I can deal with. It's okay. But yeah, I'd much prefer the cold.
What did end up being the most challenging scene or moment or just thing about the character that maybe it could be the accent. Although it sounds like that actually came to you fairly easily.
It was all really hard. I mean, the accent was hard. I was like, I have to keep working at this. The detective stuff was hard. I wanted to be authentic with that. And I'm always nervous in movies and things. It's, I don't know. I'm just always conscientious of trying to get the profession right. You are what you do usually in work, and that's always very difficult to do authentically. But I think the hardest thing for me was sort of the level of I guess admiration, and then maybe attraction, and then maybe love for Mare. Kind of like, what are those levels, and playing that, and you didn't want to have like hearts floating off of her head, or you didn't want to go too much, but it also, you wanted to be interested in her and enticed, and so playing that fine line was always tricky. So it was always kind of a conversation before we shot the scene with Craig, and trying to work out different levels and playing around. And he was an incredibly playful director, so we could play around with different levels. So that helped a lot.
And he directed all the episodes, right? Which is kind of unusual for a limited series.
It's very helpful. I love that. I think that's great. And you can, refer back to something you did in one or two. This was an interesting shoot in that we sort of block shot everything. We didn't shoot it 1, 2, 3, in order. I think the first day I shot in episode 5.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was a little strange. We shot it like a 7-hour film, which was a challenge in and of itself, is trying to work out, certain things.
And if all that wasn't challenging enough, I believe you were one of the first productions that resumed after COVID-19 forced shutdowns. What was that experience like, to sort of be the first people back?
It was hard. It was, Mark Roybal, the producers, Kate, everybody was so professional and so on it and so considerate, and really wanted everybody to feel comfortable. We were just tested all the time. It was very safe. I did not feel threatened, or I felt comfortable in the environment. I was not worried about going to work because I trusted them so much, because they were so on it. So yeah, it was really, but it was tough. I mean, it's hard working like that, especially the crew. You got, we get to take it off for the scene, and you put it back on, and you got to redo the makeup and all that stuff. But it was really really difficult, I think, for everybody to be working in these masks all day long, and with the testing, and it was very difficult. But everybody believed in the show and just was such a trooper and really just wanted to get it done and finish it. I think me personally, I had 3 weeks before COVID hit. I had about 3 weeks left, like the bulk on my stuff. And then COVID hit and they were like, nope, you're staying in LA. And I thought, oh man. And I just wonder what's going to happen now with the scheduling and everything, when we're going to pick back up. But they've sort of punted it to September and sort of stuck to that. And it was really, really a professional, amazing experience, because everybody sort of rose to the occasion and just, again, wanted to complete the project that they've been working on so hard for so long. So it really felt, it felt great to be in that environment with those specific people and that crew and the cast, because it was just, a tough situation all around.
When did you shoot WandaVision? Was it before or after this, or at the same time?
It was during. It was at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually. It was so weird. I was flying back and forth to Atlanta in the middle of all of this. So the shooting. So it was very, very weird but also kind of fun. I had a blast. Like, it was, you're shooting this really down to earth, grounded show, and with Kate Winslet, and it's a crime, and you got to be very serious and sort of into it. And then I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm going to Atlanta now to act like a total crazy person. That's basically what I did, but it was super fun. It was great. I got, both productions were amazing, and I don't know how they coordinated it and worked out the schedule, but the line producers were incredible and really conscientious of my mental health and sleep, and all that stuff. They were very nice about all that. But it was fun. It was challenging, definitely. And you're like, wait, that's a different tone. I can't be doing that here on the set of MARE. And oh wait, they don't want me to be all serious in this other one. So it was a little confusing, but once I compartmentalized it, figured it out. Like I said, I was watching a lot of First 48. So I would watch that when I got to Philly. That would kind of put me in the headspace of that. And then I was watching a lot of Malcolm in the Middle, and what was the other one? Full House. I was going to say Family Full House. So I was watching that one. That would help me sort of get into the zone of what I was doing over there.
That's hilarious. And speaking of keeping secrets, I said that you were probably the biggest shock of the year was your death on MARE of Easttown. Second biggest shock is you showing up on WandaVision as Pietro Maximoff. So I'm guessing you're pretty good at keeping secrets. Also, all those seasons of American Horror Story probably conditioned you.
Yes. You can't even say the name of the show on Horror Story, whatever the new one is. Yeah, I was very conditioned in that. You're in trouble if you're giving out secrets. I wouldn't want to anyway. I think it ruins it for the audience. I think that it's more fun to keep it under the table, and then you show everybody. So yeah.
This may sound like a strange question, but because I don't know if you've already shot the Jeffrey Dahmer series or if you're still doing it.
Wrapped. Yeah, we wrapped literally September, or I wrapped September 5th. I think they went one more week after that. So we're done now.
Do you find that one character can help inform the other? Like all that research you did for MARE of Easttown, did that sort of help you prepare to play someone like Dahmer?
It did. It really did. I when I worked on MARE, I sort of developed this new thing where I would just obsess over it, and I'd always kind of done that, but I thought, you know what, I'm pulling out all the stops, and I'm just going to wake up every morning. I'm going to write. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to keep researching. I'm going to keep working at it. And, Kate, I saw Kate doing that. And I think maybe I got a little of that from her, where I just saw her on set, with her script, like all the time, just trying to connect the dots, looking at the scene, changing a little bit of dialogue here and there, making it all work as a big picture. And I really was like, she just doesn't stop. And I think that's the trick. And so I really decided that I was just going to keep researching, keep getting into it. And when Dahmer came along, when Monster, I decided, I'm going to try that on this one.
I'm going to really go for it and really write every morning and get into it and stay in it and not get out of it. And yeah, it was exhausting. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I've never worked harder, but yeah, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot.
Before we go, I have to, of course, mention congratulations on winning the Emmy, and particularly congratulations in like one of the most competitive categories I have ever seen. I really didn't know how that was going to turn out, and I was so happy it turned out the way it did. I'll be honest, you looked a little surprised yourself.
I was very surprised. I was very surprised. Incredibly competitive category. All the nominees were phenomenal, and I had no idea. I was like, I don't know. And I was so happy to be nominated that I was just happy to be there. And then, yeah, thank you so much. It really was an honor and a surreal experience. And I'm just so happy that my mom was there to see it. That was really beautiful. I'm so glad she was there to see that. That's awesome.
Am I wrong, or was that your first nomination?
It was. Yeah.
That is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been nominated before.
No, that was the first one. Yeah. I was so honored to be in that category with all those actors. And I really, again, it's just such a surreal experience that I'll never forget. An incredible moment.
Well, so deserved. And again, I think everyone watching at home knows this, but you can watch all the episodes of MARE of Easttown. You've probably already seen it. If you haven't, sorry for spoiling episode 5. They're on HBO Max. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.